Jay, if you notice, Padula's just driving them because there's, again, Florida State switching 1 through 5, so they're getting Miller on Padula, and he's just driving him to the rim. Not as much of any ball screen action right there, just said, hey, we're just going to put my head down and get to the rim.
Padula, who struggled last Saturday in the loss to Wake Forest, he's battled a foot injury throughout the season. This is the first at the line. He has bounced back in a big way today for Virginia Tech. Both Padula and Couture, those are the two that have carried the Hokies. Can they carry them enough to the finish line? And another missed free throw, 0 for 2 from the line.
No way you would think that from Mike Young or anyone, any Virginia Tech fan would be thinking he's going to miss 2 free throws. He's too good of a shooter.
Cross-court pass risky, but it pays off. They go inside. Gainey, that's his 3rd dunk. That might be the biggest one.
And again, they did not settle. Cross-court pass on the skip and went right back into the paint, whether it's been the dribble drive attacking or through the pass. That's what's carried Florida State along with the offensive rebounds.
FSU keeps going inside, and it keeps paying off. A 5-point lead for the Seminoles. Padula trying to spin out of trouble. Missed it. And that's FSU ball.
Great wall up and moving his feet. Miller not going for Padula's foot fakes or head and shoulder fakes. Great defense there by Miller.
What a pass.
Hey, Jay, I've been so impressed by Miller. He's been really good this game.
Yeah, you could argue he's been the biggest bright spot for Florida State tonight, both offensively and defensively. FSU looking for back-to-back ACC wins. One against Georgia Tech Wednesday, trying to close this one out. Acrobatic! How did that go in? Primo Spears, are you kidding?
Let me tell you something, Jay. He played off of 2. So he drove the closeout, got into the paint, did not play off of 1 foot, came to a 2-foot jump stop, used his body and his power. He's a strong guard, got into the paint there, finished, got an old school and 1. Big time play by Spears. Again, and they didn't settle for the mid-range or the 3. They attacked and conquered that ACC logo in the paint.
That's been the game changer. Florida State continues to go inside. It continues to work. This is the largest lead of the night for Florida State. Can they hold on another 240? You have to think Virginia Tech's looking for Couture. He shot 64% against Florida State in his career. It's Padula instead. Off the mark, no good.
Really good defense there by Florida State.
Watkins going coast to coast, right to the rim. Blocking foul is the call. 10-point lead for Florida State. This is now or never time for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, you can see here again, transition offense. So that's where they're at their best, Florida State, because Virginia Tech cannot set up on their half-court defense, and it allowed Watkins to get from end to end on a penetration, get into the paint. But you're right, Jay. Right now, this is really critical time for Virginia Tech because it's getting to a point where it's a point of no return based on the score right now.
They've struggled free throw shooting today, just 7 of 14 before that make.
Look, there's still a lot of time left, but I would tell you this next possession for Florida State, defensively for Virginia Tech right here, this could be the game, and for offensively for Florida State, this could be the game. This possession right here is going to say a lot on how this game finishes out.
Florida State has only made 3 threes today. It has not mattered. The game plan has been to go to the rim.
Virginia Tech showed pressure, something that Florida State always does. Virginia Tech had the pressure there. It almost got him a 10-second violation.
42 points in the paint. A lot of those coming in this second half. Leonard Hamilton takes the timeout. Still has 2 remaining here. 2 minutes left in regulation.
Well, I'll tell you right now, this is a big defensive series for Virginia Tech, as I mentioned before, and a big offensive series for Florida State coming out of this timeout. You're right at the 2-minute mark. You're right in that kind of teetering time. It's an 8-point game. So Virginia Tech, they get a stop. They got to go and try to get a go in transition. Florida State, if they score, they keep it in double digits. If Florida State is at double digits, I always thought as a head coach, around the minute 30 mark, you're probably in a good position. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything, but you're in a good position. So what are they drawing up here? Virginia Tech does not play zone. They're going to play man. So you know they're coming out in a man defense. That last time to start the half or out of the timeout, they ran that back screen lob. Will he try to do the same thing or do something to get the ball into the paint? The other thing, Jay, is what about Virginia Tech defensively on the ball screen? Because Spears has split them multiple times when they hard hedge. It'll be interesting to see if Virginia Tech does switch their coverage this time and try to switch the ball screen instead of the hard show, hard hedge by either Kidd or Barrett.
Now, Virginia Tech knows they need a stop here. Led by as many as 9, Florida State has flipped this game around by getting to the rim and cashing in. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Miller's been a bright spot. Now off to Spears. 5 seconds to shoot. Spears lost the handle. A heave from Watkins. No good. Virginia Tech gets the stop they desperately needed.
Good defensive stand there by Virginia Tech.
And a foul call.
Which, Jay, stops the clock and puts their best free throw shooter on the free throw line. I don't want to jinx them, but these should be an automatic too.
Hunter Couture on the season, 90% from the line, nothing but net there.
I'm not a betting man, but if I was a betting man, I'm going to say he's going to make both of these.
One of the best ever to wear the Hokies uniform, the all-time Virginia Tech three-point leader. Florida State must hate seeing Couture because over his career, he is 64% from the field and he's 100% from the line there. Two-possession game with 1:30 to go.
And Virginia Tech goes back to their diamond press, which gave Florida State a little trouble. And
now, interesting, because that did look like a planned foul there. Robbie Barron looked over to the bench, making sure that's what Virginia Tech wanted.
Yeah, I don't know if they wanted that. I looked over at the bench there. I couldn't tell from Coach Young, but the assistants I didn't think wanted him to foul. I think they maybe, if they're going to foul, get cross half court, try to get some traps in the backcourt. But if they wanted to foul, because they're doing, trying to extend the game.
So you're battling the clock as much as you're battling the lead.
Absolutely.
Now Worley 67% from the foul line this season. And he misses that one.
And you got to remember now, for both teams, the remaining way to go, it's double bonus. So everyone's getting 2 shots. It's not 1-on-1, but that foul obviously ends up right now, the best you can do is 1 point out of this, so it ended up being a good foul by Virginia Tech.
And if you're looking for Duke and Notre Dame, that game to come right after us in South Bend, we'll get you over there as our ACC triple header continues.
So right now, you're in a 3-possession game, Jay. Virginia Tech has to score in this possession. They have to score. Florida State does not want to foul and put them on the free throw line to give them any free points.
Padula right to the rim, lays it up and in. 5-point game. Spears breaks the press. And a turnover. Primo Spears called for a carry at midcourt. Leonard Hamilton is in disbelief. A big call in a close game.
The pressure by Virginia Tech has taken Florida State on these last 3 times they pressed, has given Florida State problems, and again, just forced a turnover there on the carry.
Virginia Tech has life. 1 minute left in regulation. Padula got it! Sean and it's a 2-point game.
Incredible. Big shot by Padula. And now Virginia Tech's taking the press off, and they're just going to play in their half-court defense because they've got a one-possession game. Incredible big-time possession right here offensively for Florida State.
Well, this is what it's all about in the ACC.
They're going to come with a high ball screen, look for Miller to maybe slip on it, but here comes Miller on the screen.
Spears, 3 seconds to shoot, in trouble. Worley gets it off just in time, but misses. And Couture has it, 25 seconds left. Virginia Tech trailing by 2. Nickel for the tie, no good. And Padula has to commit the foul there.
Hey, Jay, they got a good look there. They got a good look. I like that Mike Young did not call timeout. Florida State was not set up defensively. I thought it was a good decision not to call timeout and ends up getting a good shot.
Missed free throw. And that gives Virginia Tech life because the worst Florida State can do right now is make it a 3-point lead.
Now, if they miss this, though, you've got to get a free throw box out because that's where Florida State has hurt Virginia Tech on these second chances here.
Missed both. Virginia Tech has a timeout. 10 seconds left in regulation. Padula in attack mode. Draws the foul and will have a chance to tie this game at the foul line.
Missed free throws down the stretch there. They've missed 3 of their last 4 free throws, Jay, and here comes Padula just on the drive again. Good decision by Mike Young not to call timeout. Padula gets to the rim, draws the foul, and I would tell you, Padula missed those 2 free throws earlier. I think he's such a good free throw shooter. I would be shocked if he's not making both of these.
And Baba Miller has fouled out of this game, and he's been a huge bright spot for Florida State. 8 points, 10 rebounds. He's played excellent defense.
I tell you what, Jay, they're up.
Last game-winning shot was Cleveland at Miami.
We're getting Chuck Walsh, the SID from Florida State.
He's the best in the business.
Yeah, he was coming telling us some stat stuff. Florida State had the game. Virginia Tech's pressure in the backcourt, their full court press, has caused Florida State major issues, and then the missed free throws by Florida State.
Timeout, Leonard Hamilton. He's going to try and ice this second foul shot of Padula, who's been terrific all night. 25 points for Sean Padula. What a bounce back effort after he struggled last Saturday in the loss to Wake Forest. Here's the reality for Florida State. You were in the driver's seat. This game was almost put to bed. You led by 7 points with 1:30 left in this game. And yet, 1 free throw away from it being tied at 74. That being said, as disappointing it is to lose that lead if you're Florida State, you still have plenty of time to get something off.
Well, look, they were up 17 with 8 minutes to go against Georgia at home earlier in the year, and they lost the game. They've had some issues of holding on to leads, and that can drive the coach crazy. Time and score is everything. They just struggled somewhat against the pressure of Virginia Tech's full court press. But here's the thing. They missed their last 3 of the 4 free throws, Jay. Otherwise, the game's over.
Instead, Padula with a chance to tie this at 74. Leads all scorers with 25 points tonight. Got it. And Mike Young decides to take his final timeout to set up the defense.
Well, here's what I would tell you. The question becomes, and one, Miller has fouled out. That's a big loss for Florida State, assuming if they don't make this shot, losing him in overtime is a big loss for them because he's been such a difference maker. You can see the blown leads that Florida State has had this year. that being said, what is Leonard Hamilton drawing up right now, and what is Mike Young doing drawing up defensively? I think Mike Young's going to try to, you don't want to get them behind, so they might try to pick up just three-quarter court, but keep it in front of you. You don't want to foul because both teams are in the bonus. 5.9 seconds is plenty of time to get to the rim on a dribble. And you've got to remember the new rule in college basketball that if you drive and defensively a guy moves over, it's probably going to be a block if there's going to be a collision at the rim, if there's not a straight up and down jump by the defender. So if I'm Florida State, I'm driving that ball to the rim as deep as I can and try to put the pressure on the official.
2 minutes ago, Florida State had a 10-point lead. Virginia Tech with a furious 11-1 run in the last 2 minutes to tie this game at 74.
You can see Virginia Tech, Couture's picked up in the about right at the free throw line, extended at Virginia Tech's fence just to make sure that Florida State catches it as close as they can to the baseline. I think once they throw the ball in, they'll drop back. They just want to have it caught as close to the end line as possible.
Into Spears, 5 seconds to win it. Spears all the way to the rim and a foul called. Foul called with 1.2. Primo Spears a chance to win it at the free throw line.
You can see straight drive.
That is
not a lot of
decision.
contact, but he called it.
And Spears, 88% foul shooter.
But
he's 1 for 3 today.
Good decision to just drive it and get to the rim. Put the, as I mentioned, put the pressure on the official. Do you miss it here?
Virginia Tech does not have a timeout.
If I'm Florida State, I missed the free throw. You got to hit the rim. That way, Virginia Tech can't set anything up. Because with a 1 or 2 points, it shouldn't matter. He should miss the free throw, but he's got to hit the rim.
He makes it. Virginia Tech down to one final chance. A full court heave. Kidd can't get his hands on it, and that'll do it. Florida State holds on. Leonard Hamilton saying the game's not over. The officials are saying both teams return to your benches. Did Lynn Kidd get a touch of the ball is the question. Because if he did not, no clock would have run off, so it'd be 1.2 seconds left. Florida State would have the ball, but there would be time remaining. So the question is, did Lynn Kidd get a touch of this ball? Right now, the game...
Jay, I would like for you to... I would like for you to tell me, do you foresee this as a... Because this is a huge play right here on the replay by Spears on the drive.
Well, I was going to say, right now, the difference in this game is this foul call. So let's take another look before we look at the official review.
How do you see it, Jay? I'm
not an official, and I'm not a coach like you, but in a tight game like this, I would lean towards swallowing the whistle.
It's a questionable call. Now, I will say this for the official's defense. If there's a foul, you got to call it, whether it's 1 second
Absolutely.
in a game or 19 minutes in the first half. That being
Don't know
said,
if there's enough contact.
I couldn't tell. He said he got hit on the head. It looked like it was more on the shoulder. His forearm maybe on the back is where he got hit.
So now this is what they're reviewing. Did a piece of the ball touch Lynn Kidd? Tough to tell there.
If it did, the game's over. If it did not, then Florida State's just got to throw it in and make sure they get a touch. So with Virginia Tech with no timeouts.
What a terrific comeback attempt by Virginia Tech. They trailed by 10 with 2 minutes to go, 7 with a minute 30 to go. They come back to tie it at 74. And yet Florida State, with those 2 Primo Spears foul shots, may have just held on. Here's a good look at it. kid, outstretched arm.
It looks like the ball turned, so maybe his fingertips got it.
Live, I thought he hit it. As you look at the replays, it's tough to tell.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. But if it's a 50-50, the tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to what the official has on the call on the floor.
That look right there,
Yeah.
maybe?
Did the ball turn? Did the laces change direction is the question. They say it didn't touch.
AJ Desai's coming over here to give the call. So 1.2 seconds left, Florida State ball. And all the Seminoles need to do is inbound this ball successfully. You can't turn it over, and you win the game.
You just got to get a touch because whether Florida State or Virginia Tech touches it, it starts the clock. So even if you got a deflection, it's almost like you just throw it, let the inbounder guy guard the inbounder, get a deflection almost because the clock will start. And you can see Florida State starting every one of the half courts so they have room to break towards the basket. The only thing Florida State needs to do is get the ball touched somehow, some way, just throw it up.
And a foul called by Jamie Lucky before the inbound.
That's the last thing that Florida State wanted.
Big opportunity here.
If he misses the first, so he does his first.
Got it.
I would go ahead and you got to make it. Just if you do, there's no chance to win.
absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes you can think about what you missed. There's no chance.
You're still coaching
Yeah.
here in the booth. We can't help you. You're still coaching down the stretch.
Make the free throw, 4-point game. Your game's over.
They missed it.
I don't know why
So
he did that.
Couture heave.
They started the clock way early.
I thought they started the clock early.
They started the clock early.
The officials have walked off the court. It's a final. Florida State
They
hangs
started the
on.
clock early. Padula's trying to tell AJ Desai.
Florida State wins a thriller. Seminoles back-to-back conference wins. They sweep the week against Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. Thrilling day in the ACC, and it continues. A triple header out in South Bend, Duke and Notre Dame. Let's get you to that game because we're done here in Tallahassee. For Josh Pastner, I'm Jay Alter.
Jay, Josh, thank you very much. Wow, another tight one, another overtime game there in the ACC as we welcome you to South Bend, Indiana, and say hello. Alongside Randolph Childress, I'm Mike Monaco. We're already underway between Duke, ranked 14th in